Good afternoon. Is this on, Jeff? Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Welcome all Rotarians and guests. We're delighted that you're with us today. Today is June 27th, and we are the Rotary Club of Gainesville. As I welcome you, I'd like to ask all guests and visiting Rotarians joining us on Zoom to please identify yourself in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, please register your participation by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. Without further ado, I would like to ask Tom Collette to please come up for the song and pledge. We missed you up here, Tom.
Wow, round of applause. Okay, we'll sing My Country 'Tis of Thee today. Are you ready? My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I say. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom reign. Now join me and pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Tom. At this time, Ian Fletcher, if you could please join us for invocation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Last week, Rotary lost an icon and community leader, Vam York. Vam they will have a celebration of life for her on Saturday at 2 p.m., the 31st at Trinity United Methodist. In lieu of flowers, her family is asking that you make memorials to Trinity United Methodist Church, Haven Hospice, or the charity of your choosing. Would you please join me in a moment of silence? To the only wise one, we take a moment to say thank you for yet another day. Comfort us in all our tribulation, that we may comfort them which are in any trouble. By thy comfort, we all may be comforted. Help us soar like eagles in all we do. Oversee our club, committees, each chair, co-chair, and volunteers. Teach us where to put our value and time. Remember Vam's family as they grieve the loss of their matriarch. Please keep us all safe and remember the sick amongst us and those that are in need. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. A future awaits those who seek peace. Have your way in this meeting. Amen.
Thank you very much. At this time, do we have any visiting Rotarians or guests? If you could remain standing. Okay. Don's coming around with the mic.
Hi there, I'm David Nicholson, and I have what used to be Captain DeCourcy of the Sheriff Department here, but he has just recently retired, and I really hate to tell you all this, but he's become an addict for golf. Brand new. Anything you can all do to pull him away from it or bury him further into it, please do it. He's a really nice guy, and he's also chairman of Radian Credit Union. All right.
Excellent. Welcome. Do you have any other guests or visiting Rotarians?
Well, good afternoon. I'm Captain Shi Tanu from the Salvation Army, a Rotarian transferring from Seminole County South.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. So happy to have all of you with us today. At this time, we're going to move into announcements. And first up, we have Wilbur Holloway. Wilbur, you want to come up?
Hi, Wilbur Holloway. I am the chairman, or I don't know what I'm the chairman of the Chainsaw Committee. Ben Campen started that a few years ago when we had a bunch of hurricanes. If you happen to know someone that has a tree down, maybe they can't afford to have it taken out, we will spring into action, go out and chainsaw it up, get it out to the street. I'm also looking for volunteers. Any of you guys that are retired, looking for things to do, we have a good crew. Usually drink some beers afterwards, not during or before. But anyway, get in touch with me or see me after the meeting if you'd like to participate. And again, if you know someone who has a problem and cannot afford to have that tree removed, we can help them out. Thank you.
I'm going to show off the back of that t-shirt, Wilbur. Show everybody what they can have. There you go. All right. Next up, we have with us on Zoom today, TJ Piche with an announcement.
Hi, everybody. This Thursday, we're going to be doing a tour of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I think we have about 10 people signed up. We'd like to have more. So if you're able to come, that will be 3:30 on Thursday, July 29th. We're going to be meeting at the Heisman statues on Gail Lemerin. After the meeting, you're also going to be getting a note about helping with our latest do-goodery project. We're going to be giving appreciation baskets to local schools, the teachers at local schools where they don't really have functioning parent-teacher associations who can step in and do that. So look for the email. We hope we'll be able to get some help from you, and we look forward to seeing you either on Thursday next week or both. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ. And next we have Deborah Newell with an announcement.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to give you all a brief update about the Rotary Youth Exchange programs, which has been in the background this last year with COVID. It is still a little bit in the background because we have only been given a yellow light by Rotary International to start to explore the options and keep an eye closely on travel advisories and what the CDC and other international organizations are saying as far as that exchange. So we're looking towards the 22-23 year, potentially. Everything is fluid, and we wanted to just let you all know, you all each have children, grandchildren, whatever, who are in the schools in our area, and we want to keep the Rotary Youth Exchange program in front of them. And so the district has some posters, and we're going to place those so that when we do get to the point where we can really recruit students and families and so forth, that it will be something that is on their radar already. The other thing that we can do now and want to do is identify families in Rotary and in the community that will serve as host families when the time does come that we can do the actual exchange. So if you and your family or your neighbors or someone in your church or your organization would like to host, please ask them to contact me, and I will put them on the list. There is a lot of vetting that needs to happen for both the students and the host families. So when we get to the point where if we send one student, we have to agree to take one student. If we send 3, we have to agree to take 3. And it's a complex process. So I just wanted to let you all know that there are things going on behind the scenes. We need to be in contact with the school districts, with the private schools. And one of the things that we are looking towards is just really doing a small kind of pilot in 22-23, although we are we do have the Delta variant of COVID. And also I heard this weekend that there's a new variant that's called Alpha that has broken out in the UK. So safety of the students and safety of the families and so forth is the most important thing. Out of the whole world now, there are only 22 countries that are promoting travel right now. Great vacation destinations, probably not the best locations to send the students. They are all, however, coastal. So that's it at the moment. I will probably be contacting you all to see if you have students in your family or if you want to be a host family. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. All right, at this time, we're going to go into a craft talk. So Mike Conroy, you have to introduce to us Dalton Baker.
Good afternoon, everybody. With some trepidation, I introduce to you a fine young man, Dalton Baker. And all kidding aside, I feel greatly honored to be a member of this club, which I have been for the most part for the last 22 years. And in getting to know Dalton over the last 5 or 6 years, and he saw my involvement with Rotary, he was very interested and came several times. Eventually, he asked if he could come and become a member. And I think you've seen him on many instances where he's joined work crews and already taken the jump into Rotary. And I think he's going to make a fine Rotarian. He's certainly a straight shooting guy. Dalton.
Thank you, Mike. Again, my name's Dalton Baker. I'm originally from here, literally. I was born in Alachua General Hospital. That's no longer here. Went to Waldo Elementary School when they had a police department. Went to Hawthorne High School. Just stayed local, spent a lot of time with my parents. Had good, loving parents. Stayed a lot of time on the water and in the woods. I have a wonderful woman in my life named Amy. She said she could not attend today. After growing up, I joined the Air Force. It gave me the opportunity to see the world, travel around a lot of flying, but it also gave me the vision to see true evil and oppression around the world. And there's a gentleman that joined Rotary just recently named Jacob, and I heard his story on how he survived South Africa, and I'd love to talk to him some more about that. It's just it's out there, and it's good to be aware and have people like that help us spread what the mission is that I've learned already is just spread love and positivity around the world. Which will bring me to the next event in my life. I started studying at University of Florida in School of Building Construction around 2000, 2001. September 11th happens. I'm a full-time student. After the Air Force, I joined the Florida Air National Guard, which has a unit of F-15 Strike Eagles. So 10 minutes after the second tower got hit, I was recalled and had to take all of our training munitions down and load real-world weapons. That's a hard pill to swallow, but that was a very turning point in my life. So I got out, I came back, finished school at building construction. I didn't have a lot of construction experience prior to college. However, I did do some rough plumbing as a teenager. I was doing septic tanks, little work, but eventually I did get into UF, did graduate from the program, got recruited by a large home builder, spent a lot of time in residential construction, and then the crash hit in 2006, 7, and 8. So I took a hiatus to large superstructures, concrete superstructures like the CDC in Atlanta, Biomedical Sciences building on the south face of Shands. And then some work in Atlanta like the CDC that we're all learning about now. Rollins School of Public Health at Emory, several many concrete structures. And just like the one that just crashed or collapsed in Miami. My heart goes out to all those people that lost their lives. Lastly, I just want to wrap up with, I'm glad I'm where I feel like I belong, to get out of myself, serve the community, serve my neighbors, just be a servant. And I'll end with this: every second counts, so make every second count. Thank you.
Dalton, thank you so much. And welcome to the club. We're so glad to have you. At this time, without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to President David Grayson.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. Before I begin, Dalton, I'd like to call you back up here, my friend. Please, I've got something to commemorate your craft talk and your kind of graduation from being a newbie to being a member of the club. We're glad to have you in this club. You're going to be a great Rotarian. This is our Rotary Club of Gainesville plaque that includes the 4-way test that is given to each Rotarian once they've done their craft talk. And it was great to hear a little bit more about your background. And Jacob and Tim, if I may take a minute here, why don't you put that plate of food down and come up and get your 4-way test. I didn't have this for you last week. I'm sorry I didn't have it then, but I mean, two fantastic new members we've got here, folks. Jacob and Tim, we enjoyed your craft talk last week. Okay, folks, so it is really good to be with everyone here in person at the CADE, and it's also great to be connected with all the folks on Zoom. Again, we're thankful to have that capability. I'll begin with just telling you that I was saddened this weekend to learn of the passing of our fellow Rotarian, Vam York. I know many of us in this room were closer to Vam and ET than I was, but I'm at least certainly knew Vam and ET to some degree. And I'll tell you that through 64 years of marriage, they together just had a tremendous impact on the Gainesville community through their just generous support. I'm talking generous support of entities, institutions like IFAS, Haven Hospice, the Gainesville Community Playhouse. Our club will continue to honor VAM and ET each year with their so named our most prestigious award, the ET and VAM York Service Above Self Award. So folks, if if you don't have plans and feel inclined, I hope you'll consider going out and honoring VAM at Trinity United Methodist Church Saturday at 2 p.m. Just got a couple of little kind of business related announcements before I ask Eric to come up and introduce our speaker. We've got a great program today. Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI, is having an event on August 28th. It's going to be over in Palm Coast. For those of you that are somewhat unfamiliar with RLI or just maybe need a reminder, these are training sessions that are designed for current club leaders and also future club leaders. So folks that are on the board or maybe considering board service or committee chairman, you're encouraged to join us and go. These events are they're interesting. They're in kind of a classroom setting, facilitator led. So we've got a leader, typically an experienced Rotarian, talking about things like club service, fellowship events, membership, just strategic planning concepts. And really the neat thing about these events is, or these sessions, these classroom settings, the neat thing to me is you're just being able to talk to Rotarians of clubs that are, a fourth the size of ours, or just, just clubs entirely different than ours in their geographical setting and just the way they run their club. And you take these ideas that make sense, you take them back to their club, and let's, implement some of them. And it's great to have that kind of interaction with folks. I'll tell you, I won't belabor this too much. We'll get along here, but I recall the first RLI that I attended, and I think Helen is here. Helen, are you? There she is. Yep. I wanted to make eye contact with you, Helen, just so you know I'm telling the truth. Helen was, she was probably the club secretary or maybe the president-elect. It was before her president term. And Helen had encouraged me to go, and I did. And I'll tell you, my big takeaway was learning truly. I had already heard this from people like Buddy Goodman and Wesley Eubank, who had told me as a new member of the club that, this is a special club, but to actually see the evidence of that by interacting with these other clubs, it was just something that, I won't forget. Our club just has a unique impact on our community, and we are on the Rotary map. So it's kind of neat in that regard. So again, I just encourage you guys, August 28th, registration deadline is August 17th. It's $100, breakfast, lunch, notebook materials, and a certificate when you graduate. The club's going to pay for it. So this is how much import we put on this. So consider it. Eric, please come up here and introduce our speaker today.
Thank you so much, David. I want to introduce someone to you that you all know and know well, a fellow Rotarian for many years here. This is our chair of our county commission, Commissioner Ken Cornell. A little background. Ken was born and raised in Gainesville and attended Terwilliger, Fort Clark, Buchholz, all prior to college. Following in his parents' footsteps, Ken attended the University of Florida and earned his master's degree with high honors from the Fisher School of Accounting. Ken has been married for over 28 years to his wife, Angela. They have 2 children, Connor and Christopher, who both attend public schools in Alachua County and have recently graduated from the University of Central Florida. So as a small business owner, Ken has had the opportunity to own and operate a number of small businesses in Alachua County. Ken was also trained as a certified public accountant and currently a broker associate and senior vice president with Bosshart Realty Services, LLC. Commissioner Cornell was elected to the Alachua County Commission in November 2014 and was recently reelected in 2018 unopposed. Ken's record of involvement in Alachua County includes serving on the Community Agency Partnership Program, Citizens Advisory Board, the Chamber of Commerce Public Policy Board, and various other private and nonprofit organization boards. Ken is a Rotarian and a graduate of Access and will bring his record of caring about and improving our community to the County Commission. Now, a little insight, Ken loves to travel with his family. He just got back from a trip. When he's not kayaking, reading, or exercising, or spending time with his 4 rescue pets, that's what, JJ, Jesse, Sassy, and Scrabbles? Is that correct? So, it's one of the things I can tell you that we're really fortunate. Ken has really jumped in on this role as chair with incredible diligence and time and attention, and his focus to make sure he moves our county in the proper direction has been really exciting. He spent time with myself and my staff to make sure We go over the strategy, and we're very excited. And even many of our board members participated with that. And Ken, I just thank you for reaching out to us like that and sharing that. But more important, be willing to reach out to our Rotary group here today and share that information with us. Please, with a big round of applause, welcome our Chair of the County Commission, Ken Cornell.
Well, that was fun. That was fun. Thank you, Eric. And thank you all for, I am in a room full of community leaders. What a pleasure. I've got to update, I guess, my bio. I guess that was off the internet. Yeah, so Angela and I have been married for 30 years. Okay, so let's just correct that one. June 30th of 1990. She'd kill me if I didn't correct that. Jay knows, Connor and Chris. Jay helped coach my kids in soccer. And I know many of you, not only professionally, but obviously personally. So when Eric called and said, I need you to come speak to Rotary, I said, please. And I actually was supposed to be here last week, but I was in Seattle. And I found out today that you had Mark Whittemore last week. So I have to follow Mark Whittemore, Jiminy Crickets. And I got Chris Doring next week. So I don't know. I think I got kind of set up because those two guys, I love them both and they're great community leaders as well. So he said, what would you like to talk about? And I said, how about the strategic plan? He said, the county commission strategic plan, that's great. I've shared that with the chamber, with the Builder Association, with the Realtor Association. And every opportunity I get to speak to our community about our strategic plan, I take that. So the county commission actually has a strategic plan. I think that's kind of the big aha, because since I've been on the commission, we've never had one. You know, we have the comp plan. Everybody knows that's the plan of the community. But when the new commission was elected last year, we have 2 new commissioners. I said, you know, why don't we go and kind of have a group and do a strategic plan? And so they were up for that. So on March 4th, your county commission, we hired a facilitator who did the Florida Association of Counties strategic plan. He had an hour-and-a-half long interview with each of us. He reviewed our comp plan, reviewed our goals. And then we met as a commission out at Cuskawilla, and we talked through what's important for the community. And we actually developed a strategic plan. One of the things that was important for us is that it be one page, that it be simple, that it be easy to communicate. And most importantly, as we're doing our budget, we asked the manager that to identify the initiatives that are going to be funded that tie back to this one-page plan. And so, you know, plans are great on paper, but if you don't implement them, they're just that. They're just plans on paper. So I'm going to go through that with you and what we came up with. And I would ask that you hold us accountable to this and that you also tell us what you like, what you don't like. That was really the purpose of interacting with the chamber. Is plans are alive. They're supposed to keep evolving. And so this was, as of March 4th, what our commission said is important to this community. It obviously changes as things change. And so I'm going to spend about 15 minutes. I'll go through it. More importantly, though, I want to give the meeting to you all. Things that you want to know about me. If you want to know about, you know, me personally, I can tell you about that. I'm a Terwilliger, Fort Clark, Buchholz kid. Dalton, great to see here that you're from Waldo. But also what the commission is doing, or if you have questions about what the commission is doing, we'll leave 10 or 15 minutes or 10 minutes for that. Is that okay? I got about 20 minutes. So that's the goal of today. So let me just get through it. So at the top of our strategic plan is equitable and resilient community. Equitable and resilient, but we wanted to define what did that mean. So resilient means integrating the environment, the local economy, and equity to achieve sustainability. That was resilience. Equitable means striving to treat everyone justly according to their circumstances, providing opportunity and access for everyone while focusing on closing the existing equity and access gaps. We've got 2 guiding principles. We prefer to address the root cause of issues. So there's a lot of things in our budget where we're kind of addressing the symptoms, and we want to address the root cause, poverty being a major one. And we prefer to utilize a collaborative approach. This is the second one, where we seek to hear from all voices, consider other points of view, and coordinate and leverage relationships to get more than we could do on our own. For example, the University of Florida, Rotary, the chamber, each of the small cities. You know, we are infinitely stronger together than on our own. And I think sometimes we all get in our silos, and we want to make sure that we're not in silos. One of the things that we're doing related to that is we're actually, for the first time in 3 or 4 years, we're actually meeting with each of the small cities. You know, we've got a relationship with Gainesville. We meet with them a lot, but we're actually going out to each of the cities, and we're sharing our plan, hearing their plan, trying to bring the community together. You know, COVID, we kind of all stayed home and we worked online, and we're doing new things now, like this Zoom, but we've also need to maintain that connection. So we're going out to each of the cities, and we're almost through that task. And then we're going to have a countywide summit at the end of August with all the mayors and myself at the senior center. And I would invite you all to that, and we'll talk about that. All right. So in the strategic plan, there are 4 main areas. Each area stands on its own. Neither one is more important than the other. I'll just go through those with you. The first is address the housing gap. The second is achieve social and economic opportunity for all. The third is to accelerate progress on infrastructure. And the fourth is to invest in and continue to protect our environment. So let's talk about housing. 65% of folks own their own house. That's great. 35% don't. So one of the things that we want to make sure that we address is we've got a housing shortage. And I'm a broker. I've never seen a real estate market like we had right now. Alachua County is becoming, or has already become, pretty unaffordable for many folks. And so what are we going to do? Intentional public investment. We've got a significant amount of capital coming in from the federal government with regards to the American Rescue Plan and the CARES Plan. And so we're going to intentionally make some public investments in the housing. We're going to proactively coordinate with agencies and other municipalities. We want clarity of policies and expectations for our builders so they can make building predictable. We want to continue the county's role to focus on low and extremely low housing, and then take a whole cost approach. So when we think about the cost of housing, it's not just rent, it's utilities, it's everything that goes into housing. So housing is a big priority of us. Second one, and this is the one that I think really hit home with the chamber, because they all really sat up straight and said, this is us right here. Achieve social and economic opportunity for all. So proactively collaborate leaderships to make the most of the resources that we have. Build equitable access to health, both physical and mental, safety and opportunity. Have an inclusive approach to making decisions where we listen to everybody where they are. Focus on economic development efforts on local businesses and removing barriers. I was hopeful that we were going to actually hire an economic development person. That didn't happen, so we're focused on that. And we'll hopefully get somebody else in that role. And then finally, drive the discussion regarding a central receiving facility as a way to deliver services in a coordinated way. So right now, if you get picked up by law enforcement, they got 2 options: take you to jail or Baker Act you. And we think that there's a real role for a central receiving facility, which is a third option to deal with mental health, because we all know once you're in the system, it's infinitely more expensive to the taxpayers and also to the person. So we're going to hopefully achieve a central receiving facility in the next year. Third priority, accelerate progress on infrastructure. So we want to be a lot more transparent about the priorities and infrastructure projects that we're doing. You ought to be able to go on to the county's website and look at a road and see, when is that road going to be repaved? What's the plan for that? So we're going to hopefully get that done this year. When I came on the commission, one of my priorities was roads. Tower Road hadn't been paved. And so the county commission put $3.5 million of additional funding in the general fund into roads. And it's not enough. We need to do more, but infrastructure transparency is important. Infrastructure sales tax in conjunction with the potential housing trust fund and renewal of wild spaces. So this is another big one. Next year, we may be putting on the ballot a potential infrastructure sales tax. Right now, we have wild spaces in public places, which is a half cent. It's expiring in 2024. There's a big group of folks that just want us to renew that in 2024. And if we don't do something in 2022, that's what will probably happen. That will get put on the ballot. So I feel like we have an opportunity in 2022 to do a full cent, which would do two things. It would renew the wild spaces and public places sales tax in 2024, while simultaneously coming up with a half-cent sales tax for other items, other infrastructure items, housing, roads, broadband. And so that's something that we are discussing. We're discussing in the smaller cities, and we're discussing at the commission level. And if we do that, I'll probably be back to talk to you about it, because it's something that I think we've got a short window of an opportunity to either do it or not do it. Lastly, invest in and protect our environment, continue wild spaces and public places. We'd also like to add agricultural lands into that, because we think that there's a big push at this county commission to make sure that we protect agricultural lands. We understand food insecurity, and we think that farm to table locally makes the most sense. You know, it takes a lot of money to bring a strawberry from California and sell it at a Publix. When we can do that here locally, I think that's something that we'd like to focus on. So again, this is the high-level strategic plan. The county manager is tying each of our budget initiatives to one of these four areas. And that's the overview. Okay, now clap. No, you don't have to clap. You don't have to clap. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but I just wanted to break the silence. So really, this meeting's for y'all. I'm more interested in actually answering your questions and covering anything that I covered. So let's go ahead and open it up for questions. Glenn.
Hi, Commissioner Greg Young, and it's so good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Greg, I called you Glenn. Sorry, Greg.
You're close. I appreciate your leadership in the county, and I just heard about something on the TED Radio Hour this weekend called participatory budgeting.
Okay.
And it's new to me. It sounds like you've heard of it. Could you expound on that, please?
Yeah, so it's where everybody gets to participate in the budget process. So the way the county does the budget process is we've had about 12 budget meetings, and it's, quote, open to the public. It's open on Facebook. We try to get input from folks. What we've actually implemented, though, recently is if you go onto our website, we spent last year doing this, you can actually pull up every dollar that's spent and every dollar that's budgeted on the website and actually see the checks that are cut. And so I think participatory budgeting is where the budgeting starts from the ground up, from the community. We talk about zero-based budgeting, meaning if you are going to redo your budget next year, start from zero, and what's the highest priority. So we kind of did that with our strategic plan and our manager going back and asking the departments, what's the highest and best use. COVID gave us a real opportunity, you know, we talk about all the bad parts of COVID, but with regards to the good parts, you know, I've got a philosophy that you fire fast and you hire slow. You fire fast and you hire slow, you figure out what you really need. And when COVID came, we kind of had to do that. You know, we didn't know what the economy was going to look like. Now, we got a lot of CARES Act money. We provided a lot of that to the community. We distributed over 21 million to individuals and a big chunk to small businesses. And we're getting some more American Rescue Fund money. But I think participatory budgeting is listening to your community. What are your community's needs, and having them participate actually in the budget. Thanks for asking that question. You know, we talk about our priorities, but talking is cheap. We fund our community priorities. And so if we have a priority and we don't fund it, it's not a priority. It's just talk.
Good afternoon, Ken.
Hey.
Kent Walker. Hey, thank you for being here. Just wanted to make a comment and kind of a question, but last weekend I was up early one morning and just flipping channels, and the local CBS channel had Alachua County Speaks, and they did little segments on all the different departments, and it was really impressive. I was just like, wow, they've got some great stuff. But I thought, you know, this would be really great if it was out to more people. It was like so early in the morning. I don't know, it may be on the website, but that was my thought, is if a newcomer comes here, wants to know what's going on, that I thought was just an excellent program.
Thank you, Kent. Yeah, Mark Sexton is our public information officer. He does a great job. You know, we do a lot to try to push out what the departments are doing. It's your government. You know, I work for all of you. We're here to serve you. And so the the better we can kind of communicate what each of the departments do to serve its citizens. I'm for that. And Mark does a good job with that. My mom watches me on the commission, and, I wouldn't ask anyone else to do that. You got to have a sleep problem or something if you watch those commission meetings. But I think Wilbur sometimes he just needs to kind of get something off his chest, because he comes in and he keeps us honest, which is good. More on the city side than on the county side, but appreciate all of your input. But a lot of folks are interested in their government. And what we found with the Zoom is we've got a lot more people actually watching and participating in their government, which I think is a great thing. Everyone says, let's get back to normal. And I'm like, there's a new normal. We're able to Zoom in 21 people that couldn't make it today. And it's great to have them up there. It's great to have everyone. So, more is better. I like to make the statement that if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I'm clearly in the right room today because I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but that's how we all get better, is we listen to our community. So next question. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, Commissioner Robert Bounce. Tone is very important in running a meeting. The county commission, especially under your leadership, I might add, has an excellent reputation for listening to people and conducting a meeting where you don't have so much divisive rhetoric, either on the dais or from those participating, in contrast to the city commission. What's your secret?
Well, when I was elected, my mom said, "You don't have any more friends." I said, "I didn't know I had any friends anyways." And so, my secret is when it rains outside, it's cleaning me off. I try to live my life like a duck, let it roll off my back. And I try not to take anything personal. But I think our secret is our commissioners understand that we're not the smartest in the room. And you really got to listen to your community. And there are people that you like and maybe you don't like. But what I learned my first year was there was a person that I didn't like, but I represent that person. I serve that person. And over 3 minutes of them communicating to me, 2 minutes and 45 seconds was them saying how awful we were. But there was 15 seconds of brilliance. And if you don't listen, you miss it. And so from my perspective, I want to listen to all of the opinions, because if I know the opposite side of a issue and I can't defend my position, then I'm going to be on you're going to educate me and you're going to move me. Like I'm not so smart that, this is my position. I'm not changing it. Give me more information. I'll change my position. And now guess what? You get to listen to my explanation about why I am where I am. And I think people need to be heard. They all come from a different place. It's in our strategic plan. Go to where they are and listen to where they're coming from. Because I'm born and raised here. This is the greatest community in the world. We got a lot of really smart people in a small area. PhDs, doctors, master's students. And we've got folks that care about this community. You are all leaders of this community. You're vested. You're here. And so if you're coming to a meeting to talk to us, you get my ear. I want to hear what you have to say. I may not agree, I'll probably tell you. I know you're going to tell me. We're about to hear it right now. Go ahead, Wilbur.
You mentioned on the infrastructure, you were talking about the broadband. Is this the same thing the city's pursuing?
Okay, let's talk a little bit about broadband. So from my perspective, broadband after last year, from my perspective, is it is an important infrastructure, roads, buildings, healthcare system, broadband. If you're not connected, you're just not connected. And what we saw with our kids is if you're not connected, you're not educated. So the federal government, state government, and I think your local county government believes that broadband this is our opportunity. We got $52 million, and the county commission has preliminarily allocated 20 million of that to countywide broadband. Now that's a big issue because right now we've got a lot of broadband providers And we had an issue with our partners over at GRU over the radio system. So I have publicly said, if we're going to have countywide broadband, it's going to be county run. We're not going to outsource that. Now we need to have a partner, and I hope that can be GRU, but there's Verizon, there's AT&T, there are others. And so we're going to be talking about over the next year, a countywide broadband system where everyone has access to broadband. Rural access, urban access, the city's issue with spending money outside the city, obviously they represent the city, is they have citizens that don't have access. They're not as concerned about the folks in Waldo that don't have access. But I represent everyone. I represent the people in Waldo, and I represent the people in the city of Gainesville. So I'm a strong proponent that the countywide broadband needs to be a county-run system. Now, Boone, Kentucky, the president of NACO, which I was at 2 weeks ago, actually did this. He used Cincinnati Bell. Cincinnati Bell committed 32 million. Boone County, they're about 180,000, committed 15 million. And they are rolling out countywide broadband in Boone County. So there are some examples. I also sit on the state Florida Association of Counties Board of Directors, and there's a broadband subcommittee, and I'm on that committee. And so what we are doing at the statewide level is we have 67 counties. Different counties are doing it different ways. But in September, we're going to get some best practices. You will probably see in the coming month, our manager put out an invitation to negotiate with the major providers that serve Alachua County, which will be GRU, AT&T, Cox, Verizon, and give them an opportunity to tell us how they would roll out countywide broadband. So we want to hear from all of them. And then with the expertise at the state level and also at the national level, we believe that the federal money that's coming in from the county, and the city's getting some as well, can be leveraged with our private partners to create a rollout plan of countywide broadband. And I hope many of you, if you're interested in that, I know Jay and I have had a conversation about that, will participate because we're going to need y'all's help when it comes to what we're going to do. But yes, that's on the calendar. I don't know if the city is putting any of their money towards it. I don't think they are as much as we are. It might be for the reason I just said, but I don't know. That's going to be up to the city and really GRU. And GRUCOM is a separate component of GRU. GRUCOM, if you know their budget, that's well, GRU's budget and GRUCOM's budget. I guess we shouldn't talk about that, but I would like GRUCOM to consider having some joint governance with the county or have the county run it. I think that's a potential. I don't know if I've said that publicly, but now I've said that publicly. So feel free to tell them.
Okay, Ken, we have one more question from the chat. It's from Barbara Anderson. A lot of apartments are being built in the area, and most of them have provisions for low-income people. But I'm not sure if this is solving the problem of housing for low-income folks. I'm interested in your view, please. Barbara Anderson.
Thank you, Barbara, for that question. Housing it's a huge issue. We've got a lot of housing around the university. The citizens, you all, passed the Housing Trust Fund in the last as a charter amendment. We created the Housing Trust Fund, which is essentially an empty bucket. Part of what this commission wants to do is, if we do an infrastructure sales tax, allocate some of that money into that Housing Trust Fund and provide incentives, maybe backstop affordable housing with private developers, and provide additional rental assistance. We've received $17 million from the federal government in additional rental assistance. But we're going to have to backstop affordable housing because it just hasn't happened in the state of Florida. It's the #1 issue at the Florida Chamber of Commerce. It's not an Alachua County issue. It's a national and certainly a state issue. But I probably didn't answer her question. But yes, a private developer has a pro forma, and if it doesn't work, they don't build it. And so you're going to see your county government stepping forward to say, if we backstop guaranteed housing. We have a lot of housing vouchers. Will you build it? And hopefully that'll start to roll out. And so that's something that we're talking about. Okay. I will. Thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity. Chris Doring will be a lot more entertaining. I will be here though afterwards if you want to come up and chat about anything specific. Okay, thank you.
Ken, Commissioner Cornell, thank you so much for your presentation today. Thanks for your years of service to our community in Alachua County. You and your colleagues, fellow commissioners, the due diligence required to appropriately consider all of the concerns and issues that come from a variety of folks across the community. I can't imagine being tasked with that. I know that requires a lot of doing, so our club appreciates that. I've got something for you just to remember your talk today, and it is something that you are familiar with as a member of this club in the past. This is a coin we've got here, Ken. This is on the front there. We've got front side is our Rotary motto, service above self. And on the back, we have the 4-way test. Of all things we think, say, or do, we run it by the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I know that's the kind of thing that you guys are thinking about in all of your sometimes long meetings. So again, we just appreciate your time today and your time working for us. And folks, in case you haven't heard, we have former Gator great Chris Doring joining us next week. I look forward to seeing everyone. Have a good week.